Well, hey guys, all right, I want to get a little more specific and tactical on a certain portion of your discovery call and overcoming objections. Both times you need to make good use of commitments. So there's a point in the sales process where you're like, I got it. I know where you are. I know where you're trying to go. What you're missing is this. It makes perfect sense over there. Let me ask you this. And that's where you ask some commitment questions. And the commitment questions are yes, or what they call close-ended questions. And so they're yes or no's. You really want to get someone to nod their head and yes or no, or just make that commitment. I'm ready to move forward. You know, questions like, do you think boom, 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 boom? Yes or no. Can you see how this would work? Yes or no. And then here's one that you want to add during the discovery call. You get to the point where you say, listen, I know where you want to go. I know how to get there, and I see the problem that you're having there. So let me ask you this. If there was a way that we could take you from where you are now to where you just said you want to go, if we can give you a step-by-step guide that you can achieve that goals and walk with you hand in hand so you will achieve that goal that we just stated earlier. How soon would you like to get started? And it's a difficult question to ask because you're really asking for commitment. Here's a point where they could start feeling some pushback and you might feel a little in your belly, and so you don't want to say it. But force yourself to do it, and you do it by practicing. You do it by rehearsing. Got it. Listen, if I could get you from here to where you want to go and kind of build that bridge and give you a step-by-step guide to get there and walk with you hand in hand while we do it, if you can get all that and achieve that goal, how soon would you want to get started? Practice it. How soon would you want to get started? So it just sounds like almost exciting, like you're going to take them on this journey and you get that commitment. And they'll say either right away or they're going to say, well, it depends on the price. But now you're there. Now they know the discovery call is shifting into a full-on sales call. It's an exciting part. It's like where you want to get to, you know? You got all the discovery out of the way. They've agreed with your premise. You know, you have information. You know their current situation. You know where they ultimately want to get to, and they could feel it emotionally. And so you're like getting excited. Got it. That makes sense. Hey, let me ask you this. If I could give you a step-by-step guide that you could achieve all that in that amount of time that we talked about, and I'll walk with you hand in hand while we do it. If you can get all that, how soon would you want to get started? I mean, you're saying the same thing, but you build excitement when you do it, when you start rehearsing it. And by the way, once they say, oh, it depends on the money, and you say, oh, there's some money aside. If you can get it, would you do it? Yes, absolutely. How soon would you want to get started? Now, boom, you got some commitment, and psychologically it's in their head. And so this same kind of commitment thing happens because once you give them the price at the end and they object to it, or they may not object to the price initially, they may give you some, I need to think about it ahead of time, but the real thing is the price when they get to it. When they get there, you go back to commitments. And so what happens is someone will say, you know what, it's just not a good time. We don't really have the money right now. Got it. That completely makes sense. Listen, take the money out of it right now and let's just pretend it was free, but not talking about that. Move that aside. Let me just ask you this. Can you see how the program that we just discussed with you and how we're able to, people achieve their goals? Do you see how it works for other people? Yes. Can you see how it would work for you if you do blah, 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 and you could do all that? Do you think you could put in the time to go ahead and do all this and all that stuff? I mean, if it was free, do you think you could find the time to do that and all that stuff so you can achieve that goal again? And then you can go back to it. So then, I got to ask, is it really only the price, or would a payment plan help, or something like that? And you can back into negotiations. But you don't just hit it. You got to get them these commitments first. Very important. It's easy to chicken out during the discovery call, but if you make sure that you check off that box. And I do this. I'll have, and there's a form in there of all the different parts of the discovery call. I make sure of all the things. I'm going to check off that box on commitment because I know it'll increase your chances for sale by at least 30%. Or it stops it in its tracks right there. If they're not ready, oh, well, I'll have to do it, in 3 months. They're not really a client right now. They're not ready to commit. If they're not ready to commit now, they certainly won't be ready to commit at the close. All right, so make sure you hit that. If you have any questions, drop them down below. And maybe I'll put that form in here too. It'll be in other places, but so you'll have stuff to check off. All right, you guys are awesome. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.